You are your sister's keeper.
She's almost 40.
40 is the new 30.
Marry that nice guy from my church group. He's a virgin.
That's weird you know that.
Great to see you again, Heather. How you doing this morning?
I know, great to see you. Good to see you. I recognize you and your cool backdrop of all the cool records and DVDs that you have.
I am a big physical media proponent, so I love having it as my backdrop for interviews. So I must say, Chosen Family is quite the charming, cozy little rom-com. I love that you are back as both writer and director on this. And I remember when I was talking with Julia for this, she mentioned how it was somehow or somewhat inspired by your own life and your own family. And I'm curious if you could maybe sort of expound upon that when you were putting together the script for this one.
I mean, I think I wanted to tell the journey of a person who kind of grows up in a dysfunctional family and is a people pleaser, and how she tries to stop neglecting her own wants to try to help people that she's not even really helping. So I wanted to find the humor in kind of dysfunctional families.
So did you find that you pulled from your own? Did you have a dysfunctional family yourself, or did you find that?
I did. I mean, it's a mixture. There's some things I'm sure they're probably inspired by real life, and other stuff I made up. But yeah, I mean, her character as a sister, I think, she did such a great job. It's so cool she talked to you. I feel grateful she's doing press for the movie. It's really cool.
I've spoken with Thomas. I've spoken with John. I've spoken with Julia.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's really cool.
I've loved
Thanks for talking about the film. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I'd love to hear then, it's been a few years since you were in the director's chair, and what sort of inspired you to want to get back to it now?
Well, it is really cool to get to tell a story that means something to you. And I guess, as a woman watching movies, I love a female-driven story. And I guess I wanted to tell the story of this kind of painful growth lesson I learned, in case it potentially helps anyone, because I love watching other people's stories that are real and how they learned or grew through something difficult. And it's just really fun I guess I want to make movies that empower people and women, and because I love watching that kind of stuff.
We need more of that in cinema, so I'm glad that you are leading the charge on that. And so one thing I'd love, since you talk about, wanting to really empower people, is when I spoke with John, he mentioned how one thing you really like doing is just surrounding yourself with people that you trust and love and letting them run with it. And from a director's perspective, what is it like, really making sure that you allow everybody, cast, crew, to just do what they need to do without sort of micromanaging?
I think, at first when people come to you and go, hey, I think this could be better, or you could do this, you could do that, or I could say this. When I first started, I felt criticized. And then I realized, these people are trying to help you. They actually are coming up with some better ideas. So take their ideas. And I know as an actor, sometimes I come up with a great idea. And when a director lets me do it, I feel so empowered and it makes me feel so good. And I wanted to create a space where actors could come and improve the material, and it was just fun, just that everyone was excited and came up with some fun. Everyone came up with fun improvs.
Yeah, so a lot of people were talking about the improv, which I think is so much fun. Obviously, Tom is the legend in that field. But
I mean, Tom. Some of the editing I wasn't in control of, and some of the funny things that Tom and Andrea made up were unfortunately cut out because the movie was long. But I mean, everybody actually came up with really fun stuff, really funny stuff.
That's amazing. So I'd love to hear about that then. You say you didn't fully have control of the editing, but what do you have sort of a say on what gets cut and what gets kept in a movie, especially with something that has so much improv?
I mean, I can give my opinion, but I don't have total control. I mean, to be honest, there were some really funny jokes that were cut out because of different reasons, having to do with the sound or the whatever the financier, so it was frustrating to lose these really funny jokes. But at the same point, I'm grateful I got to make the movie, and there's still a lot of funny jokes that are in.
There are. And do you think then that maybe those other jokes will find their way into a blooper reel at some point?
I wish. I keep trying to get the footage back so that I could do a director's cut, and just there's stuff that I really want back in the movie. But yeah, it is so fun having actors that pretty much everyone improv. I mean, Julia is hilarious. as well. I mean, everybody, the little girl, she's everybody. I think they all felt kind of inspired to have this atmosphere of like, yeah, if you have something great to throw in there, try it. And everyone did.
That's awesome. And so in talking about the little girl, then I'd love to hear about the casting search for her, because, I remember when we spoke for Place of Bones, you talked about wanting to really ensure that your co-star there felt safe and guided. And so since you're the director on this one, I'd love to hear, about finding her and sort of guiding her along this process.
Well, she auditioned on tape, and it was interesting because, the way I'd written the part, the character was really young, but it's great because Ella actually looks younger than she is. So she came at it with a more mature viewpoint, but she looks really young. And at the very end of her audition, she was like, I like this character because she's very mischievous, and she's funny. And it's cool because on one hand, you want to have some empathy for the little girl, but also she's kind of naughty. So you want her to be kind of naughty. And she's it's like shockingly professional and talented. Like, I mean, she has so many different talents. It's almost freakish at the young age. If you go on her Instagram, she's competing in dance competitions. She's running the marathon. She's acting in thing. I mean, she's very impressive.
That's awesome.
I'll say out of all the auditions, though, Julie Halston, who plays the mom, there's a scene where the mom starts singing a song, right? And she made up this whole song in this audition that she did. And I was dying laughing. Like, she is so funny. I was like sending it to all my friends. And then, we put it in, she's in the movie and the song is in the movie. But I mean, she is hilarious. So it was just funny. It's just great to get to meet all these talented people who just, make you laugh.
I love that. So, okay, you've talked about a few different people auditioning. I remember John mentioned he auditioned as well. But for Tom, because you had directed him in Half Magic.
Of course. Tom is like, I was just like, would you even do this? Like, please, would you do it? And he's like, we didn't have like a ton of money. So he was just like, I'm there. Who cares about money? No, but he's, the thing is, he is a really talented writer, and of course, actor, comedian. I don't know why I got so lucky that I feel like we're friends now. I feel like I have a very cool friend.
He mentioned that both you and Andrea Savage are his two friends that were on this movie. So your feeling is correct.
No, but look, I feel like if you put Andrea Savage and Thomas Lennon in a scene together, it's going to be amazing, right? Because they'll just go off on and they had so many. Like, honestly, I wanted to make all the scenes with them like 10 minutes long because they're so funny together.
They really are. And Odessa also picked up the ball and ran with it.
Odessa's amazing. Odessa is actually one of my real life best friends. And she's a producer who produced the movie Navalny, the documentary that won an Academy Award. And it was fun having her in there because she's also an actress and she's my real life best friend. So it was fun having these like brilliant comedians. And then my real life best friend, who's also like this awesome actress who's funny as well.
I'm sure it made for the set environment to be more fun and warm. So I love hearing that. So I'd love then to hear about working with John, really finding that sort of rom-com or that believable, grounded, romantic dynamic that you two have throughout this film.
Well, I mean, it feels very lucky that John auditioned because it's a kind of delicate balance with that character where you want to love him, but you also, he's flawed. Just like all the characters are amazing, but they have some flaws. And he made it funny and lovable, and he's so cute, and he has total movie star quality. And, you could really tell that he's a loving dad because he does have daughters. And you could tell from his audition, like there's a sweetness in the way that he plays being a loving dad. And you can just tell that it's real. And in the scene where he's like, I haven't really been on a date in like 10 years, the way he said that line, like I really believed him. And in fact, he's been married for like, I don't know, like 15 years or more. Like he is like this very genuine, sweet, loving dad, husband. And there's something about, he's just very lovable.
He really is. You found the perfect people for this cast. So I love how it all came together. I see I've got time for one more question. So I did also want to ask really quickly. The dance sequence was hysterical. And you mentioned her being all these dancing competitions. How did you go about sort of putting that sequence together, and how much of it was choreographed versus just on the spot?
It's funny because when I wrote the script, I thought, okay, well, this is the big comedy scene. Like, I don't know if it will turn out that way. But on the day when we did it, everyone was like, oh, my God, this is because she actually is like a really good dancer, And It's just a ridiculous idea and a ridiculous scene. But in all the film festivals that we've gone to, that's like the scene that everybody laughs the hardest at, and it's I think a highlight of the movie. It's just a ridiculous scene. I've never really seen a scene like that in a movie before. It's cringy, funny. But yeah, Ella brought it. You know, she really brought it.
Well, I can't wait for more people to see it because, like you say, I think it is a good highlight of the film along with everything else. And I can't wait to spread the word. So, Heather, thank you so much for talking with me again.
Thanks for talking to so many of the actors in the movie and talking about the film. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. More than happy to. I hope you have a good rest of your week.
All right. Thanks, Grant.
I think his daughter might hate me. What do you want, Lily?
You gone.
This kid is going to grow up to be a straight up axe murderer.